Hi, I'm Eric Bauer, Executive Director of Portland Rescue Mission. For 75 years, Portland Rescue Mission has been a beacon of God's love and grace to people suffering from homelessness, hunger, and addiction on the streets of Portland. I've had the privilege of being here since 2006. My wife Ruth and I and our boys lived next to Shepherd's Door, our Women and Children's Recovery Center, for a year when we first landed in Portland, and our children attended the same elementary school the children from Shepherd's Door attended. And we got to witness ever since that time myriad of miracles in people's lives, transformation of lives, and see the impact of the ministries of Portland Rescue Mission. And all the services delivered by Portland Rescue Mission over the years have always been with a view towards restoration, moving people from the street to a new life. Everything we do expresses value, gives hope, builds trust, and through that trust, help walk with people to a better place. So I invite you to join me as we look back in the last 75 years at the life-restoring work of Portland Rescue Mission. And it all began in 1949 when John and Tress Van Diest cooked soup at their home and brought down a big pot in the back of their car and served men suffering from homelessness on the street in Burnside in Old Town. And it grew from there. Churches got involved. Volunteers got involved. And by 1951, they owned the same building we have today at 111 West Burnside. And men suffering from homelessness found food, they found shelter, they found referral assistance and integration back into the community, all because of community support. In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, homelessness in America was almost primarily male. In 1980, only about 5% of the population that was experiencing homelessness were women and children. By 2000, it has swelled to 42%. So in the 80s, Portland Rescue Mission began to look at what they should do to begin to serve the needs of women and children. They decided to go to the deep end of the pool, to invest in the families, to stop the cycle of poverty, the cycle of addiction, and to transform the family for good. And that's why they opened Shepherd's Door in 1994, serving several women in Northeast Portland. But then, by 2003, they had done a major campaign and they opened the new Shepherd's Door, serving 40 women and 25 children. And to this day, that's been servicing women and children in need of total life recovery, job training, life skills training, addictions recovery, finding housing afterwards, transition programs to help do that, a full-time children's ministry to minister to the needs of the children that have been in traumatized situations for years perhaps. Reunifying families, mothers to children from CPS. So it's really a fully integrated women and children's facility. Shortly after this, there's another pivot to meet the changing needs of the community. We found that the people, the men and the women in our recovery programs, needed pretty strong work skills training. Increasingly, they came to us deficient in work skills. So in 1999, we started Drive Away Hunger. It's a car donation program where we take the cars, repair them, and sell them. And it provides work opportunities in a real world setting for the men and the women in our recovery programs, both at Shepherd's Door and at the harbor. There's mechanic work, there's car detailing, there's towing, there's clerk work, there's reception work. And that's been a really, really important piece of the vocational development of our men and women in our recovery programs. In 2006, when Ruth and I arrived at Portland Rescue Mission, I noticed that Portland had about the lowest shelter rate in the country of any city at providing shelter for people experiencing homelessness. So one of the first things we did was begin to add shelter beds to our Burnside shelter. And over the next few years, we quadrupled the number of beds we had for shelter. We also hired folks to do nothing but engage with other agencies because we also saw a change in the landscape. People experiencing homelessness had a multiplicity of issues sometimes, mental health, addictions, dire need of housing, and we connected people to those other agencies because we developed relationships. And during the same time, we also reinforced our 24/7 services. We are the only nonprofit there open 24/7, and not only do we provide the shelter and the meals, we also provide mail service, monitored bathrooms, clothing, toiletries, emergency response, especially in the evenings if things are people are in great need, telephone access. All of this because we want to develop relationships and care for the people on the street so we can build trust and begin to walk them on a path into a better future. And then by 2012, we developed an extended shelter program called Connect, where men can stay for many months, even up to a year, to stabilize, get work skills, and find housing, because the housing costs are getting so severe. Up to 40 men now are in that program. And one of the ways we were able to add so much shelter downtown is we moved the men's recovery program from downtown out to the harbor in 2013. 40 men here spent a full year in recovery, life skills training, addictions recovery, vocational development, spiritual growth. And within a couple of years of opening the harbor in Northeast Portland, we saw a need to have more robust job training for our men in the program, as well as the ladies at Shepherd's Door. So in 2015, we opened Mission Barbecue, a catering business, providing really competition-grade quality barbecue. It's been going ever since. We've rebranded and expanded the menu to now called Fresh Start Catering. This social enterprise has provided a wonderful opportunity for our men and women to get public-facing job experience, food preparation experience, cooking experience, and just general operational care. Been a really strong program for us. And the same year we started Mission Barbecue, things were changing in Old Town. Around 2015 on, law enforcement around violence and drug use was really diminished. And the violence in our organization began to feel that. And so by 2019, we remodeled our whole front end, and we added a double lock door system and gave ID cards to anyone wanting services from us. That dramatically reduced the violence in and around the building. It also increased the intimacy we had with the guests. Now we know their names. We can call them by name. It's on the card every day. We can know what services that they're connecting with. And that really helped enrich the ministry down there and bring safety and calm to the people we're serving. Which brings us to 2020, COVID. And everybody's adapting to this crisis. In particular, in the area of homeless services, the capacities of all the organizations providing shelter were diminished because of spacing requirements. And public funding came forward and made temporary COVID shelters for people. But there's no feeding opportunity for that. So we offered as an organization, we have 3 commercial kitchens. We have adaptive capacity. So we began offering for free for 6 months to a year, over 3,000 meals a week to those shelters to help people find nourishment during that time. In addition, we had to adapt all our internal operations to feed out the door because people were not allowed in. But also, we were about the only organization in Old Town during early COVID to not miss a day of operation. Again, highlighting our adaptability and our commitment to serving the people we serve, always restoratively, but also to bring basic needs of life when things arise. And during the same first year of COVID in 2020, we also, of course, had the 3 months of straight protests and riots in downtown and Old Town Portland. And that served to actually cause a lot of the folks living on the street to flee out from the inner core and scatter across Portland area, mainly to the east side. And so to reach those people, we need to have a mobile mission and to pursue them where they were, and to offer services and referral opportunities and food and goods there. So we developed the Hope Van program. Purchased a van, refitted it, has a little mobile office inside for referrals and connectivity, as well as supplies in the back. Ever since then, we've been going to encampments and gatherings of folks that are suffering from homelessness to provide services and connectivity, learn names, develop trust. The same thing we do in our lobby downtown in Old Town, we now do for the van as well. So as you can see, through our entire history, especially recently, there's been a constant adaptivity to the evolving needs and evolving conditions in our city. And we're able to do that, again, because of your partnership and the great, great compassionate care of our community. Well, thank you for taking this journey with us. From back in 1949 with John and Tress serving soup out of the back of their car to today with over 90 employees, over 1,500 volunteers. We've served over 6,000 people last year, restoring lives, transforming lives, all because of community partnership. We take no government money. And even though times are more volatile and many times darker than ever, we're ready to meet that challenge and to hold those values of restoring lives because of your partnership. Thank you.